Today we are going to do a deeper dive into the overlapping female career nemesis of patriarchy, gender stereotypes, and unconscious bias. And our focus is going to be on at the office. These three infiltrate home, society, media, the church, but our focus today is at the office. The CEOs of 93% of Fortune 500, 95% of top European 600, 98% of top 100 Indian, and 100% of top Chinese firms are men. Nowhere is the dominance of men greater than in the private sector. This is an example of patriarchy. Male-dominant leadership ensures more of the same because leaders have a tendency to hire and promote people that look like themselves. Why? Unconscious bias. The great man theory in the 1840s affirmed that leaders are men. This was reaffirmed by Dr. Victoria Shine in the 1970s and subsequently many other times by multiple researchers. Into the 21st century, people continue to think manager and think male. The male stereotype is the leader stereotype. Dr. Madeline Heilman is an expert on gender stereotypes and the negative influence they have on women's progression into senior management. She has shown that the female stereotype is incompatible with the leader stereotype. In spite of women's increased presence at universities and increased presence in the workforce, from 2001 to 2019 and thousands of years before that, gender stereotypes have not perceptibly changed. Gender stereotypes have not perceptibly changed forever. Consider this common scenario. A man and a woman are candidates for a COO position. She meets 100% of the requirements. He meets 60. The hiring manager can't express why, but he just believes that the man is a better fit. And so he gets hired. Why is that? Gender stereotypes. The male stereotype is the leader stereotype. The hiring manager sees the female candidate. He can see she's very qualified, but there's just something about her that doesn't make the cut. That's unconscious bias. Aspiring women are a novelty and marked. Every promotion makes them more novel and more marked. What these women do and say is scrutinized. It's a real drawback when mistakes by men go unnoticed, but they are highlighted for women. Why is that? Unconscious bias. Many researchers predicted that when women had greater presence in leadership, unconscious biases and the discriminatory outcomes that follow would decrease. That seems completely logical, but the data is completely unsupportive. Progress for women has been met with increasing bias. Why? It solidifies patriarchy. Dr. Alan Johnson is an expert on patriarchy, and he predicted that this is exactly what would occur. Men only permit so much intrusion by women into their areas of dominance. Men tolerate women in lower status leadership positions, but in powerful positions, this has to be prevented. To maintain control of the higher status, higher paid positions at each successful level of leadership, gender bias unconsciously increases. According to Dr. Alice Egley, As women gain greater equality, a portion of people react against it. They long for traditional roles. So here we have a situation where patriarchy is driving gender stereotypes and is driving unconscious bias. Increasing success for women and increasing bias was highlighted in a hair-raising 2019 report from the United Nations. They said precisely when awareness to bias against women is increasing, the path becomes steeper. This raises a red flag about future progress. So here we have a situation of unconscious bias reinforcing patriarchy. In 1980, the S&P 500 had its first female CEO. In 2020, women CEOs numbered 25. It's insane that this very low level of progress, 25 out of 500, is driving this backlash against the success of women. However, when women are aware of the biases that deter their careers, they can become adept at neutralizing them. But that's a topic for another talk.